It is cars going 300 kilometers an hour in the rain. This was an excellent kind of setup for the race because you knew shit was going to go down, like stuff was going to happen. So in the end, we'll go with the spoilers first. Max Verstappen wins this race. Lewis Hamilton ends up second. Max was third on the grid. He had a great start. He started in second gear, got a good fly off, took them all over, took the lead.
Yeah, in that first chicane.
Part of that first chicane, Hamilton damages his wing early. He loses a little end plate. He keeps going on. But then, of course, when they do their first pit, which after the Latifi crash, which caused a safety car, he comes in and fixes that up. At the midpoint of the race, Hamilton is, I think, ninth or something like that. Oh, no.
No, he's running. He's running second.
He's running second. He's coming through the back markers. Russell and Bottas are fighting over ninth. And if you haven't seen the highlights of this crash, Russell drops a tire on the grass, which flings him straight into Bottas. They hit the barriers in like the end of the straight, doing over 300 kilometers an hour. Massive crash, huge crash. Both cars completely totaled. The Halo does its job for Bottas with Russell's wheel bouncing off and kind of hitting his cabin. Monks, who did you think was at fault in this crash?
It was very hard at face value during the race. You did see Bottas was following the dry line, which is he's entitled to do, but it does look like he's darted out.
I think at that point,
spooked.
I think at that point as well, the guys were starting to move on to the slicks. So which means you had to stick on the dry line. If you didn't stick on the dry line, you were yourself in risk of putting yourself into a wall, as Hamilton did by going off and putting himself in a wall and then having to pit for the second time and get his wing replaced. But so keep going, Monks.
Yeah, it was hard. So you did see Bottas sort of – it was weird because it's the setup for that corner, so you do come across and it definitely did spook Russell. You look at the replays, you saw Russell still had heaps of room on the track.
Yeah, there was plenty of room for him to put his car there. Like he could have come a little bit more left and possibly banged wheels with Bottas. But, Russell gets out of his car, goes over to Bottas and asks him, like, are you trying to kill us? Bottas gives him the bird, essentially gives him the finger and says...
Russell gives him a bit of a slap over the head.
Away, lashes out. I don't think he hits him or anything. He lashes out and just, just like, fuck you, mate. Russell did come out after the race and, on Twitter and said, heat of the moment, we probably should have done better. I probably should have backed off a little bit more. I had some room there. I did need to drop a tyre on the grass because it was a huge crash. Led to everyone thought Kimi Räikkönen was following it up and it was like, is that going to be a safety car? And then they ended up red flagging the race, which was good for Hamilton because then he could one, unlap himself and two, fix his wing. He's in sixth place at this point. They basically said to him on the radio, it's like, we're aiming for second because Verstappen was just so much quicker. He did end up taking everyone over from that 6 points a second. He finishes second. Lando Norris did it really well as well. Finished in third place for McLaren, which is great for that team. Danny started sixth, finished sixth, didn't have an amazing race out of this, but
I think he got caught early on in the race.
Yeah, he didn't have pace. He didn't have pace, and no matter what tyre they had, they just couldn't put that car together. He did well to hold sixth place in that, so keeps himself relevant in the championship. But it looks like Hamilton's the heavy favourite, and Max could challenge him this year. Max looks quick.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see how this season plays out going forward. Where are they? They don't have a race this week. It's next week.
Let me double check.
Double check that. While you do that, the other interesting thing from this, F1 has signed a deal with Miami for 10 years.
10 years.
They will run a race in Miami starting next year. Of course, Florida COVID doesn't exist in Florida. They're going to run all the sports events. So they're going to do that race there, which will be quite interesting to see how they do that race. I don't think they've got a dedicated racetrack. I wonder if it would be a circuit track. They have to be a dedicated. You wouldn't run F1 on a circuit track.
I have a feeling they do have a track for IndyCars maybe.
IndyCar, quite interesting this week too.
It's a street track as well.
Yeah. If you want some more motorsports, Roman Grosjean, and is it McLaughlin, former supercar driver, Scott McLaughlin, yes, supercar driver, both in IndyCar now. Will Powell finished second in the race on the weekend. These two are fighting for Rookie of the Year. IndyCar, quite interesting. A lot more crash. They had a massive crash. They lost like 6 cars in the first lap. So interesting. Well, we were covering F1. I can't cover too much motorsports. These guys get bored.
But I'm sure.
Yeah, so no races this weekend. Next weekend, 30th of April through to 2nd May, we're in Portugal.
Back at Portugal. I think the first time since the 80s they're back at Portugal.
Okay.
Yeah.